Yeah, great. All right, hello. I'm Jasmine. And I guess we can just hop right on into it. So, by a show of hands, who would like more money than they do now? Than they have? Okay. The next show of hands, who can battle with really being content with what they have? All right. Well, I actually wanted to encourage you guys and also talk about, well, our text will be in Hebrews, but talk about how to be content. I know, well, especially with money, I know I'm definitely battling and going through this now, just as a young single, and I read this scripture and it really touched my heart a lot to help me to depend on God, to trust God, to know that He'll always be with me. So we can hop right into it. If you can turn to Hebrews 13. Okay. And here, this is, I know it doesn't have a specific author, but I know some will believe it's probably Paul, writing in chapter 13. These are kind of like his last words, summing up the letter, closing it out, and he puts his very special part in his closing. So, chapter 13, verse 5, and I'll read. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. And so we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? And we'll stop there. So, as he's wrapping this up, I was thinking, why would he put this part in there? Like, it's not something that's small. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in the church at this time, but I would just assume maybe people can be growing discontent with what they have. But I also, when he said keep your lives free from the love of money, I can think, well, okay, free, opposite of that, slavery. How can we be enslaved to money? And not even just money, the paper, but go deeper into that. What does money represent for us? It can be a safety net. It can be a source of faith, a source of value. And we can go to that and cling to that and flock to that. And when we don't have that, oh my goodness, God, what's going on? We can lose faith. I know I can just lose faith like that. I don't see it, it's not there, and then I just go crazy, in my mind, my viewpoint on life. But I have to go back to the scriptures to see what does God say. But also, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. That's actually a scripture that's quoted in Deuteronomy 31. And I actually wanted to go there. Come on, Jasmine. Deuteronomy chapter 31. And I'll start reading in verse 1. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I am now 120 years old, and I am no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua also will cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said. And the Lord will do to them what he did in Sinon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will not leave you, he will never leave you nor forsake you. And I can think, wow, that's a huge jump. Here, but why would he quote this? This is intense. And I can think, wow, that's how we can feel about money. This is an intense situation, and how God promised the Israelites this promised land. And now Moses won't be able to lead them, but Joshua will lead them to them. But think about what they were thinking. They might have been just afraid. God, are you really with us? Okay, we have to follow this man. These people are probably big, or, who've been trained. I'm afraid. I'm scared. And I can see how they would be afraid, how they would be scared of that. But still, God is like, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. And the same things with our issue with money. God is saying here, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. And then he goes on to say, and so we say with confidence, we should say as his disciples, as his chosen people with confidence, that God, he is our helper. and I will not be afraid for what can man do to me.